Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yes, chef, we are able to hear you.
Yeah, you can hear me?
Yes, yes, your voice is clear, chef.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah, hi. Good evening, chef.
Good evening. How are things?
Great, great, chef. All good here.
Okay.
So just a moment, chef. I think we'll be starting in a moment. So
Okay. How many participants do we have?
we have registered 400 plus participants for this webinar, chef.
Oh, 100 plus.
Yes, chef.
Oh my God.
And
A lot.
presently around 100 are online.
Okay. Okay.
Chef Saha, good evening
Hello.
to you. Good evening, Chef Saha.
Good evening. I'm not able to hear you very well.
Your voice is faint.
Okay, we've got around 400 registration.
Okay,
400.
fantastic.
Yeah, 400 registration.
Yeah, but your voice is not clear at all. We can't hear you.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay.
वो लोग आज क्लास पे करने के लिए आए हैं कल रात में हम 9:30 बजे आए
So they're waiting. Waiting for you.
अभी शुरू नहीं हुआ, अभी शुरू होना है.
हो गया अभी. आप लॉगिन करो.
लॉगिन इसमें से इधर ही बैठूंगा मैं, इसमें ही करूंगा, उसमें करूंगा.
So everybody is joining online from their respective homes, or it's a working day, or what is it? Can you hear me?
Yes, chef, we are able to hear you. In fact, we are joining in from our respective places.
Okay.
Although Professor Rajesh is joining in from the college, so he's at the
Okay.
college at the moment. But
Okay.
most of us are joining in from our respective places only.
Right. Right. Okay.
So we are just waiting for our principal sir to join in, and we'll be starting in
Okay. Okay.
with that.
Okay. So Professor Rajesh, what subjects do you teach?
Chef Saha, I am teaching accommodation.
Okay.
I'm teaching front office management. I teach event management, allied hospitality basically. And I take project market feasibility and financial viability project.
Okay.
Okay. And moreover, management subject, marketing and all that.
Right.
subjects.
Right. Okay.
Sir, we do remember your 2014 at AMC.
Okay.
And we actually had prepared a short video for that. I think
Okay.
whether you have seen, I don't know. If Mr. Ranjan can play once again before we start, I think you will be refreshed.
Right.
If Ranjan can play, if technical team are hearing me, if they can play this video, probably it will be refreshing.
Right.
2014, I remember you came to our college.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. So Abhijit, we can start now. Sir is with me. Principal sir is with me.
Okay, so well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to this webinar being organized by Department of Hotel Management, Administrative Management College, Bengaluru. I am pleased to announce that we have had more than 400 registrations for this webinar today. I thank you all for joining in and being a part of this webinar. Before I start, there's a little disclaimer here that we have taken up to technology in this pandemic times very recently and in huge manner. And technology often lets us down with sometimes Wi-Fi issue or power failures. So we'll try and make this work for us. So, in fact, India's organized dine-in restaurants are on a course for a 40 to 50% cut in revenue this year. The reason being the pandemic disruptions, which has caused by COVID-19, which have led to closure of outlets, job cuts, and a trickle-down effect on the food supply chain. According to a research estimate, the 1.5 lakh crore organized restaurant business will take at least a year after the lockdown to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. Organized restaurants account for close to 35% of India's restaurant industry, estimated at 4.2 lakh crore rupees in the year 2019. Dine-ins are 75% of the organized restaurants, with online delivery and takeaways making up for the rest. As per research, the the organized sector has seen a 90% reduction in the sales since lockdown, and dine-in is hardly operational, and online orders have declined by 50 to 70%. And to top it all, rebound is expected only to be very gradual. But someone said that new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. So this brings us to the topic of our today's webinar, that is the future of food and beverage industry. First, I would like to request our principal sir, Dr. DVSSR Prakash, to address the webinar.
Abhijit?
Yes, sir, we are able to hear you clearly.
Okay, some technical issue. Yes, resolved.
Yes.
Good afternoon to the people who have assembled at their respective places for attending this webinar session. Respected trustees of Paramhamsa Foundation Trust and the faculty members of Department of Hotel Management, Director of the Department, Professor Rajesh Kumar, Convener of the program, Professor Abhijit Chatterjee, and the guest for today's lecture, Chef Abhijit Saha, and all the students. Very happy to see all of you for this webinar. Before going to the topic, I would like to mention briefly about the institution. Administrative Management College is about a 2.5 decade old college, established on 18th kilometer Bannerghatta Road, offering many UG and PG programs. The college is spread in 52-acre lush green campus, very attractive, and we have engineering college associated with this college on the campus. It's a huge campus, yes. And the institution also offers some of the PG programs, MBA, MCA, MSc Biotech, along with BBA, BCom, BCA, BHM, and BCom other branches like retail management, actuarial studies, insurance. These are the areas. So well-established institution for the last 2.5 decades in South Bangalore. Yes. And on behalf of the management and the college, on behalf of me, I cordially invite all of you for this webinar, and also Professor Abhijit Saha for this. And the institution is also accredited by NAC recently, one plus point for the institution in recent time. And the future of food and beverage industry, yes, very important and very apt topic selected by the department, and to train the students and all the people. And the knowledgeable person, that's what I came to know about the chief guest for today's lecture from our Rajesh was mentioning about you, sir. Very happy to see you here, and our students will certainly get the knowledge and they share. You can share your opinion about the topic, and it is a need of the hour for everybody. Yes. Then the Department of Hotel Management is one of the first few institutions established in 1993, right? Long-standing department in AMC, and they have been contributing a lot for the institution. Very good faculty members, continuously striving to keep the department in good academic position, and they organize a relish program every year. It has been for the last 2 decades they have been doing that. The students will get the experience in food preparation, in sales, marketing, and how to organize an event management. And these are the areas they train. Then first of all, the ethics, how to behave when you go for any placement, any training program, or how to interact with people, how to behave in a group, how you should coordinate with your classmates and then organize an event. I mean, they used to get that kind of training from Relish program every year. So a team of highly qualified and dedicated faculty members guiding the students to impart the skills and the trade. That is the tagline of BHM department. Very happy for that. And the purpose of education is to make good human beings with skill and expertise. So with this statement, Thank you very much. Once again, I welcome all of you for this webinar, and I welcome the chief guest also. Thank you, sir. Over to the technical team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for the very brief and apt introduction to the webinar. Now, I would request our director, Professor Rajesh Kumar, to introduce our guest.
Okay. Chef Abhijit Saha is a founder and managing director of ACE, excuse me, founder and managing director, ACE Hospitality and Consulting, the coach and the mentor of Indian team for Because or Asia Pacific 2018, a guest judge of MasterChef India and technical judge of Young Chef Olympiad. Abhijit Saha has 3 decades of national and international experience as a chef. He is a restaurateur and a food and beverage consultant. He has been awarded IFCA Exceptional Achievement Award in 2019, Chef of the Year 2018 by BBC Food in Good Food India, Chef of the Year at Times Food Award in 2016, and Best Chef of India at the Indian Restaurant Congress 2013. Indian Federation of Culinary Association Chef Entrepreneur of the Year 2009, to name a few. As a founder director of Avant-Garde Hospitality, he conceptualized, executed, and operated award-winning and critically acclaimed restaurants such as Caperberry, Modernistic European, Fava Mediterranean in Bangalore. His Michelin-recommended signature, European signature Indian restaurant Saha in 2000 and 2018 in Singapore was awarded the Epicurean Star Award for the new restaurant in 2014 by the Restaurant Association of Singapore. In the first 18 years of his career, he has worked with Taj Hotels from 1990 to 1998, Mena Hotels in 1998 to 2000, and the Park Hotel from 2001 to 2007 in various positions, including executive chef and food and beverage director. Abhijit Saha has studied hotel management from Pusa, New Delhi, and food and beverage technology and design at Johnson and Wales University, USA, as a recipient of the International Hotel and Restaurant Association Foundation for the Future Scholarship. His keen interest in wine has taken him all over the world, including France, Italy, Spain, California, and Australia. He has also served as a president of the Bangalore Wine Club in 2012 and 13, as a member of Shendale Rotisa. I welcome our chef for this particular webinar. I'm really happy to see him again at AMC. Welcome to you, chef.
Thank you, sir.
Over to you, Abhijit.
Thank you so much for introducing our guest, sir. Chef Abhijit Saha, it is a double honor for me. Firstly, because to have you amongst us and all the students, and secondly, to share the same name as yours. So, welcome to the webinar, Chef.
Thank
What?
you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
My
So,
pleasure.
what has been your fondest memory of being in the industry for the last 3 decades, Chef?
See, there is not just one memory that I can describe, which is the fondest, but there is so many of them. You know, every day is a new day in the restaurant and food and beverage industry. So there is something new to look forward to when you come in for work every day. And joy, the biggest joy is, you know, the ability to put a smile on the face of your customer. So that is what keeps me the happiest. If I'm able to do that on a daily basis, that is what gives me the extreme happiness. Having said that, there are many landmarks that I have achieved in terms of various awards and other things. But of late, I have launched the Caperberry cookbook, which is my first book, and it is talks about the journey of a chef and the restaurateurs and how you set up a restaurant, what are the challenges that you face. It is not just a cookbook, it's about the entire story of setting up a restaurant and running it and all of that. So it's a very important book for people to refer to. I take maybe 6 months to set up a restaurant, but that book has taken me 6 years to write. So that is the content of the book. I don't think so that kind of a book or that level of a book has been written in India by any chef so far. So if you can get your hands onto it, please do that. It's called the Caperberry Cookbook, and it is available on Amazon. And it's a very exciting and an interesting book for anybody who wants to be in the food and beverage industry. So I think that that is what I would like to say is for me at the moment keeping me very happy.
In fact, thank you, Chef, for telling about your book. Like it has all the wisdom of your 3 decades of your industry experience, and in that, so that people who can read just by reading the book, they can gain the knowledge of your insight and insights on what you have learned so far. So we
Exactly.
really want people to look into that book and go through that. So now, the crisis has a way, like no, to rethink our models for restaurants. What is the way forward for restaurants in this post-COVID world, Chef?
See, I think that the COVID crisis was unprecedented. It has put us into a lot of difficulty because nobody could prepare for it, nobody could anticipate an invisible enemy that will all tie us down inside our home and will not allow us to socialize and go out. Basically, restaurants are not just about dining out, it is also about socializing. Restaurants come in different formats. There are fine dining restaurants, there are bars, there are microbreweries, and the main idea of going out is to have fun, to socialize, enjoy some good food, and the overall experience comes with that. So, if that has been taken away, the main aspect of eating out has been taken away. As a result, the food and beverage revenues have really gone down drastically. In some cases by 100%, in some cases by 80%, some cases by 90%. So basically, everybody is in trouble. It is because I think of two reasons. One is that there is a fear psychosis amongst people, and also the economy, as a result of the lockdown that has happened, has taken a downturn. So it has had a double whammy effect on the sentiments of the people. Having said that, restaurants will have to innovate from here onwards. It is most likely that 50% of the restaurants which were there before the pandemic may not see the light of the day or may not be able to survive for the next 3 months and beyond. I know for at least for sure, at least 15 to 20% restaurants have already downed their shutters. And I know for sure also that within the next 3 months, more will do so because it's not going to be overnight that people will start coming back to the restaurant. So having the ability to sustain yourself and innovate is the key. There are many restaurants that have taken delivery in a big way because where delivery market is improved and it has become more organized because people are preferring to stay at home and eat the food that they get in the restaurant. But that's only a part of the experience, and that can never fulfill the entire market of going out and eating out. Also, with the government only opening the food business, and till today it was only till the 8 p.m. that people could go out, and there was a curfew after that, meant that you could only open your restaurant for up to for lunch. And so whereas for most restaurants the business is in the dinner time. And also it also happens that Sunday, which is the day for going out on a daytime, was also a lockdown despite the lockdown having opened up. So this has had a very, very big damaging effect. I'm not just concerned about the businesses, but also the people who have lost their jobs, and some of the people are being paid only 25 to 50% of their salaries. I can say that they are lucky that they are being at least getting some money. But the way to recover from here is to think afresh. You cannot really cry over spilt milk. Whatever has happened, and nobody can change that. So, with the limited resources that is now available, and with the market still taking time to recover, we must learn how to create a large impact by spending the least amount of money. So we should try to first of all control our costs. We should renegotiate with our landlords. We should try and see how we can, cut down our costs in other areas, so that we are more efficient in terms of being cost effective. So that will help us sustain and survive for longer. Then the point number two is that creating shorter menus will help you in reducing food cost and also serving fresher food to the this thing. Also, many restaurants are very new, and the other restaurants who have completed 5 years or so and may be already in a situation where the diminishing business they were already seeing even before the pandemic. It may be a good idea for them to shut the restaurant down and rethink of a concept that is more apt for today's time. Food that is more healthy, food that is more fresh, menus that are shorter, and that is the way that I think things can move forward. So basically, you have to be cost conscious. You have to be more uh, your approach towards food that is more healthy should be there. You should have shorter menus, and you must also improve your marketing, which you must follow it up with action on the ground. Winning the trust of the customers is of prime importance at this point in time. That can be done through implementing the right hygiene and post COVID standards. Safety standards are very important. So, when the customers come to the restaurant, you should be able to get the confidence that when I come here, everything is safe, and the people who are serving the food are maintaining the safety standards, and also the food that is being served is absolutely fresh. So it is about the story of being, you know, clean inside out. So that is what can win the confidence of the customers. And that should be the fundamental approach for most restaurants and food service outlets that are there right now post COVID.
As you were correctly saying, Chef, that food should look safe. So, as people say, sanitation, hygiene, and social distancing are the three mantras to be followed now. So,
Yeah.
how can we do or take care of this in a restaurant?
So these are not the mantras, these are some of the basics now. These have
Okay.
become now the basics. Without this, there is no survival. So mantras are different, those are innovations and other things that you need to do. But these things can be implemented very easily. See, it was understood that these should be taken into consideration, except social distancing. The hygiene and safety standards are anyway supposed to be implemented in a restaurant. So this can be done through first understanding what is safety and hygiene, both in terms of personal and food hygiene and the safety. So that is point number one. Point number two, having a training program that keeps the team aware all the time in terms of the safety and hygiene standards. So basically, SOPs have to be defined and continuously be inculcated within the staff culture of food service.
Okay, Chef. Yes, that in fact is certainly these are the basic things which are to even before we were taking care of that, but now it has become a more important, more focus on that. Yes.
Yes,
So,
that's
but how can we ensure a touchless kind of a service at all the interaction points in a restaurant? I mean, there is technology and there is AI, but what is your take on this? That how do we go for a touchless kind of service?
so basically, I am now currently implementing all of these things in the airport, in the Bangalore airport. So I am responsible for implementing the contactless dining process in the airport, because as you know, that airport is a very, very sensitive area. And at the same time, we need to open up the airport in order to get our economy going and things moving forward. So basically, the contactless dining has to happen in multiple stages. So it's about how you allow the parking of the car, to how you allow your customers to come in, how you train your servers to take orders, how you introduce technology in terms of QR code enabled menus, or even menus that are sent to the by WhatsApp as soon as the customers arrive. If you do not have a QR code based menu, You can have a soft copy of the menu, which is sent to the customer as soon as he or she arrives in the restaurant. So basically, pre-ordering can be also considered as one of the important areas, because customers may not want to spend a lot of time in the restaurant. They may want to, eat quickly and also exit quickly from the restaurant. So basically, you have to look into the details of cashless payment as well. So as you know, the UPI apps are there. They're enabling the cashless payment, and cash is absolutely something that is not being encouraged at this point in time. So basically, the contact points of order taking to service to menus to payment of the bills, we have to ensure the safety standards are maintained in all of these stages. So self parking should be encouraged to avoid any kind of a contamination in that area. And also, till the billing, the contactless this thing, and the feedback should also be online or through the app. So that is the way to go forward.
When we have implemented these measures like the QR code based menu, or touchless payment systems, or self parking, so do you think, Chef, that these things will impact the effect of the, or the effect of the whole experience which the guest has while dining at your restaurant?
I don't think so. Initially, it may seem a little different. Initially, it may seem a little strange, but we human beings are known for our adaptability. So we know how to do things as far as the time requires, as the time requires. So the situation is such that everybody understands the requirement is such. So previously, there was no credit card available. Even we used to only pay cash. Now we are all used to paying by credit card, and even smallest of stores now, they have the UPI apps. So people are getting used to it. So I don't think that it is going to be that important, because everybody has a smart device today, whether it is a smartphone or a laptop or a tablet. And I think that smartphones have enabled us to function in a seamless way, and is very useful. So even today, you can take advantage of such menus where there are videos of each dish that can be introduced on the digital menu, which can be scanned by this thing. So there are many advantages of having a digital menu, which is can be scanned through a what you call is the QR code, and you can even see the image of the dish even before you have ordered. You can also see a few snippets of videos. You can talk about also how you are trying to implement the safety standards in your restaurant. So basically, there's a lot of opportunity, and people like nowadays, viewing things on the screen. So I don't see a problem at all, and I think that people will get used to, seeing the menus in this kind of a format.
In fact, we have already started calling the normal as the new normal.
Yes.
So yeah, we are getting used to that anyway. But now, when we talk about QR code and digital payments, so now here the role of technology has come in a big way. So
Yes.
what is your take, Chef, on that, the role of technology in the coming times to to the manual, compared to the manual interactions we had?
Technology is not something that replaces human beings. Technology is something that enables human beings to work more efficiently. So we should take technology in a positive manner, rather than thinking that it is going to take away our jobs. So it's going to make our jobs easier. It'll make jobs which are repetitive to be more easily done, and that is what is the best part about technology. We must embrace technology with a positive mind and positive attitude. So artificial intelligence is something that is coming in a big way, and I think they will help us in planning, forecasting, revenue management. All of these areas can be better managed and managed more efficiently through the usage of technology and artificial intelligence. And that is going to already happening with some of the apps and some of the cognitive softwares that are being used. So we must embrace technology with a positive effect, positive thought, and take advantage of it. So I don't think so they will in any way impact the number of people who are working. It'll rather create a better experience for your customers and also help in improving revenues.
Perfect, chef. In fact, now when we have looked at the aspect of the new dining experience, the touchless experience, cardless, cashless payment, and technology. Now coming to the work front, where the chefs are working. So how do we maintain a social distancing and while doing the cooking or working in the range? So how do we implement their chef? Our restaurants would be of are all built pre-COVID era, and now the system is COVID has come. So how are we going to look at this?
The whole concept of the area required per square feet for person will have to be recalculated. So obviously, previously, if you could fit, say, 100 packs in a particular space, maybe now you will be able to fit 75. That is one of the calls that one needs to take. Also, kitchens were sometimes being allocated, although the rule is 1/3 and 2/3. In most areas, you'll find kitchens being allocated only 1/5 or 1/4 of the space of the entire this thing. So right now, there is no way that the back of the house can be lesser than 1/3. In fact, it can even take up 35% of the entire space that is dedicated to a food and beverage outlet. So when you increase your space and you reduce the number of covers in the restaurant for the same space, obviously the number of manpower that you will be using also comes down. So this will help in, you know, creating the workstations which are more safe and which does not uh, obviously, create a crowding or, helps in maintaining social distancing. Right now, I've done the planning of the kitchens for the entire airport, and that is what I have taken into consideration, that how the buffet format has to be, implemented. What is called as, we are implementing what is called as the assisted buffet, because people don't want to touch the same ladle. So right now, what the buffet will happen is that people will go to the buffet, or they can see the dishes, which is through their scanning through their AI app. The buffet dishes will come on their smart device, and they will say, okay, I want chicken makhni, I want the dal masala, which is there in the buffet, I want raita, I want this thing. The service taker, order taker can take the orders and then go to the buffet and pick up all the items, because he or she is using a gloves. Similarly, if the customers want to go, there will be always a person assisting him. So he will only point out the dishes that he wants to take from the buffet, and the customers, the person who's assisting him will serve those things on the plate and take it to the table on which he's seated. So this is called an assisted buffet. So we need to innovate, and we need to understand that how we can utilize the space in a better way, and how we can reduce the number of crowding, because particularly it is a concern in bars and in nightclubs where the spacing cannot be maintained. Restaurants can do it more easily than bars and nightclubs. In bars and nightclubs, you are very in close proximity to each other. You're sometimes standing. At least in a restaurant, you are seated, and your distance from one person to the other is maintained. But I think that what we need to do is that we need to find more solutions for bars and nightclubs to function with the help of social distancing. That is something that requires more thinking. And in this way, there is only one solution so far, that people have to man the gates and not allow beyond a certain number of people to enter a bar or a lounge or a nightclub within a certain period of time. So basically, they have to maintain technology in such a way that it will show always. There are boards that will show that already 50 people are in or 60 people are in. So you have to set your limit to the number of people that you can to take in, and then you need to maintain the process.
Absolutely, that gives us a pretty fair idea of the changes we should be bringing in now. The fear of COVID now is so much so that a lot of children are even scared to go out and play. So at these times, how do we in fact, chef, motivate the employees to come and work?
See, employee motivation is becoming a difficult challenge at this point in time. I think there's a lot of, mental issues that the hospitality industry is beginning to face besides, financial crunch. So the COVID-19 is affecting us mentally as well. So it is making us less enthusiastic. It is making us, some people, depressed because of the lesser number of crowd and also the uncertainty about the future. So what we need to do is that as individuals, you have to learn about self motivation. Self motivation can be looked into in different ways. One is a physical, one is the mental self motivation. So, doing an exercise on a regular basis, doing some yogas, asanas, meditation is something that needs to be done regularly by everybody. Thinking positively rather than, spending so much screen time and, looking into social media, creates more anxiety and stress than, probably it needs to. So basically we must reduce our screen time. We must look into the possibility of, how we can keep ourselves mentally and physically fit. As far as keeping the staff motivated at work is concerned, you have to conduct regular training programs for them, which are both, inspirational for their learning uh, and as well as for their practical skills. So it enhances their ability in some way or the other. So these are different programs that I'm conducting in the airport for the team. So we are talking about things like as basic as, hygiene and, how to maintain sanitation and safety and all of that, to how your actions are impacting the environment, how, the usage of water or the wastage of food, or how you can reduce the wastage of food. Because, to grow a certain amount of crop, that 75% of the water, which is fresh water, goes into the growing of the crops. And if in India it is known as 50% of the food is wasted because of various reasons in different stages. So sometimes we do bad storage, sometimes we do bad transportation, and all of these reasons. So basically, if 75% of water goes towards the growing of your crops and your other things, vegetables and fruits and other things, that means if you're wasting 40% of that amount, so imagine the quantum of water that you are wasting as a result of wasting food also. So making them aware about the larger picture, trying to understand that how in difficult situations we need to be more careful in leading our lives is very important. And wherever we can, we need to support our employees. We need to create methodologies as chefs organizations, as well as restaurant associations, and also government, schools, colleges. All of them has to come together to support the hospitality industry at this point in time. Basically, this, by support, we don't mean you donate something or something. The idea is that people have to come. How you can encourage people, more guests, to come to the restaurants and come out. That is the appeal that we have to create for customers, to make sure that, it has a better growth potential, gives the business the impetus, and in turn the employees also feel motivated.
Fair enough, chef. In fact, when you were saying that it has to be that we have to motivate the people to come to our restaurant and eat. So there are many people still who are having this fear. In fact, a large part of the population is inside with fear and due to some regulations also. So is it a good option now to like a lot of hotel chains have tied up with takeaway like Swiggy or Zomato or takeaway options. So for fine dining or restaurants, is it a good thing now to tie up with these takeaway partners so that business keeps
Every
going?
restaurant should tie up with takeaway these things, no matter what kind of dining format they are in. They have to change their menus. They have to take, exceptional measures. They have to revise the menu. They have to make it more takeaway friendly. They may be serving certain kind of food in the restaurant, but they have to adapt and make their menus more compatible for delivery and takeaway. So that is something that is the basics of doing things. So basically, many of the hotels I know have introduced takeaway menus. Hotels would rarely tie up with delivery apps. Now all hotels also have a tie-up with the delivery apps and have introduced menus which are delivery and takeaway friendly. So I think that it is very critical that we adapt ourselves and we must utilize our opportunity to tie up with this thing. But I don't think so it can replace, as I said, the experience of coming out to dine, which will happen over a period of time. It may not happen quickly enough as we want to, but I think there is an opportunity, or there's a small opportunity that is coming up, that is Diwali. If by that time the number of COVID cases starts coming down, Diwali is something that is a full of festivity. It brings about a certain amount of positivity amongst all Indians in particular. And, it is a good time for us to utilize that opportunity and gear up for, welcoming more people as we approach Diwali.
Absolutely correct. In fact, Shift, the need of the hour is being to innovate and be flexible about our offerings. So, like many restaurants are going for a option of drive-through for their chains. So, do you think it's a good idea even to go for a drive-through and takeaway menu, like the takeaway menu? The upcoming trend is being shown as a drive-through option where McDonald's chains like McDonald's are also going for the same. So do you think it looks like a good option?
See, McDonald's has a very quick process in which the drive-through can be implemented. Not every restaurant can implement drive-throughs because the time taken for the preparation and dispensing of the food is uh, there, and then there are issues with traffic and all of those things. Then there are restaurants which are not located on the ground floor. So then there are restaurants that are located in the malls. So drive-through is not a concept that can be very uh, implemented very easily in many of the restaurants. Well, having said that, those who have the chance, why not? Those who have that infrastructure, or those who have that opportunity of being on a ground floor in a not so crowded place, and where they can place an order, and they can wait for a few minutes just down the road, and people can then deliver this thing. So basically, I think that the concept of drive through, it requires a more stronger civic infrastructure in terms of roads and the way that the restaurants are designed. So I don't think most restaurants are designed to be a drive-through restaurant. So if you're not a drive-through restaurant, it is not easy for us to implement that process. But those who can, they should.
Should implement. In fact, I remember many years ago when I was in Bangalore itself, we had a drive-in movie theater where people used to sit in their vehicle and watch the movie. So maybe a concept like that would be helpful, where people are sitting in their own vehicle
I
and
know an initiative that is already being taken. So it is a good way, because cinemas, I don't know for how long it will still stay closed. And I think a drive-through cinema or a drive-in cinema is a wonderful concept at this point in time, because it gives you an opportunity to step out of your house, stay within the closed confines of your uh, you know
vehicle.
car,
Yes.
and then enjoy some food as well as entertainment at the same time. So basically, it is a complete package, and it is something that should be encouraged. Again, all cities, these have to be done in a faraway locations, and one needs to think about it. And today, even till today, there was a problem of night curfew. Now tomorrow onwards, the night curfew is going to be lifted, because movies like this cannot be screened during the daytime. So in the evening time, when the night curfew was on, it was not possible to do such a concept. So now it is possible, and I know of certain initiatives that are already being taken, and I think it's a good idea.
Well, Chef, so from the government perspective, what kind of policies do you think, Chef, that that might help come out of this COVID situation faster for restaurants in terms of business improvement, or number of covers sold, or so? What is the kind of initiative which the government has to take from its own side to
See, my expectation from the government is a lot, but in India, I don't think so that things happen very easily through the government, because, as you know, in countries like UK, Australia, and so many other places, so many other countries which are economically well to do, they have paid up to 80% of the expenses in terms of salaries and other costs for restaurants during the COVID period. Even till this month in London, almost all restaurants were paid 80% of the salary. So basically, I have not seen any kind of a financial support coming in for SMEs yet. And restaurants, though we are told we are SMEs, but I really don't know if there is anything that is trickled down. Giving some ration, or giving some food is not the way that is going. Financially, it is what is more important, that the government needs to look at things. As far as basics are concerned, I think since restaurants were allowed to open up, we should be, now the government has taken out the night curfew. I think restaurants should be also allowed to serve alcohol, and they should be clearly, that to maintain the social distancing, every restaurant and bar, the number of seats and the space should be counted, and they should be told that they will not allow this many, more than this many number of people into the restaurant in one go. Because without, as it is, social distancing is there, and then there are other challenges for people to come out. There is a fear, there is the thing, and then if you go there, you can't drink a glass of wine, or you can't even have a beer, with the food. It makes the experience incomplete. So the government should quickly resolve this issue of allowing restaurants to serve liquor, so that people are more excited to come out and incentivized to come out. I think the government also needs to regulate the inflation. So the cost of food items have gone up in many of the areas. So we need to see that how food supplies certain essential elements in particular, how the pricing can be regulated, so that restaurants can create lower food cost. Restaurants are not just high-end restaurants. They are and they are also struggling, and they also have to increase the prices if the prices of commodities they keep increasing. So government has to take a control of that, and make sure that there is some control in the prices of fundamental ingredients.
And even if maybe like some tax subsidy to people who are eating out at the moment, traveling or going and staying in the hotels, that might help people that just spending out and just even saving tax at the same time.
No, see, exactly. Like the restaurant business suffered a lot after the implementation of the VAT, where VAT was considered to be 5%, and we were not allowed to do what is called as a putback credit. We were not getting that. So basically, what happens was, as my organization, we lost 4 to 5 lakh rupees per month. So basically, what happened was that my restaurants, some of them which were profitable, as a result of the implementation of the 5% VAT, has become loss-making restaurants. Because restaurants do not have a lot of margins. There are only a few restaurants, only 10% of the restaurants which have very high margin. The other restaurants, 50% of the restaurants never make any money. Very little money they make. And other restaurants have, say, a margin of 5 to 10%. Now, if you do not get the input credit of, on the rent you pay of 18%, which was something that was very, very critical for us, it puts many businesses in a lot of difficulty. So that is something that the government should, reconsider for the restaurant industry for sure, that allowing us the credit for the putback credit.
In fact, now there are in our college and many other colleges, there are a lot of students, chef, who are in the final year of the hotel management or just about to pass out. So with the situation, the tough situation now, the jobs, in fact, are not available in plenty, and properties are still, a lot of properties are still closed or just trying to survive. In fact. So at this point of time, what would be your suggestion to the students of hotel management who are about to pass out, or who are studying in the college? So what would be your advice to them, chef?
I think for the next 1 year, as far as employment is concerned, it's going to be tough. Firstly, the priority will be given by organizations to, even if things improve, will be given to people whom they have either let go or had to give them a long leave, send them on a long leave. So they will prioritize on the taking back those employees who have already been their employees. That is point number one. Point number two is that even if they're taking them back, they will look at reduction of cost, because the business is not going to be probably 50% or 60% or 75% for the next 1 year. It'll take at least for businesses to go up to the level of 75% of peak COVID. Also, it may take up to a year. So as a result of that, the cost management will be very important. So for students who are passing out in the coming year, it is going to be a challenge initially. But I think that what they need to do, for those who have already passed out right now, they must think about doing things that can enhance their skill as well as knowledge. So basically there are a lot of online courses available at reasonable price. There are also great chefs, great people who take classes, whom you could never think of meeting. They are conducting master classes at very, very reasonable costs. Also, it is a time for people to think about more education. I know that you've already spent 4 years in college or 3 years in college, and and then now you are looking for a job, and then you have to think about more expenditure in terms of taking education. It is something that is inevitable, and at this point in time, the need of the hour. But believe you me, if you spend any time and money on education, it can never go for a waste. So you have to understand the pain of the situation, and you have to sustain, and you have to make yourself more worthy of employment after 1 year when things improve.
Yes, in fact, we are right now speaking to one of the master chefs, that is you, and we got to listen to you just because of the situation. In fact, although there are a lot of downsides of this time,
I
but
have a question to Mr. Saha.
Please tell me.
Mr. Saha, you have participated as a guest speaker in TEDx World of Flavors Conference Culinary in America and Gourmet Abu Dhabi World Gourmet Summit Singapore BBC Food Show Times Literature Festival Mumbai and in Bangalore. So many places you have been there. Okay, and you also have been to IFCA National Congress on several occasions. So, what does it take to be Mr. Abhijit Saha? Does it take all these things to become a Mr. Abhijit Saha?
It requires you to be forward thinking. Basically, you need to adapt yourself very easily and quickly. You must how learn how to do things as the time demands. So for me, I was a chef initially when I started my career. Today, I'm a restaurateur, I'm a food and beverage consultant. Then I became a food and beverage director and all of that. So when I was in as early as 1995, I started taking interest in wines while still being in the kitchen. It is because I knew that it is something that does not harm me at all. Then I went on to study enology. Then I went on to become a food and beverage director. Then I became the president of the Bangalore Wine Club. So this is something that is unthinkable for a chef to do. So basically, what I did was that you have to utilize every opportunity that comes by to you in a positive way. And you have to be determined to achieve that. So basically, it requires a lot of effort, time, and energy to do all of this. Right now, I am doing this webinar despite the fact that I'm in the middle of a training program which I'm conducting at the airport. And I've been here since 9 a.m. and I'm still having to complete that after this webinar is over. So hard work is not something that can ever be replaced by anything else. So basically, hard work, determination, ability to do something new, the willingness to do something new all the time, a willingness to learn every day, and adapt yourself. So today my restaurants are in a very difficult situation, but I'm doing so many projects at the airport. It is because I studied food service technology and design, and I have learned how to plan
Yes.
restaurants, bars, and not just only work in restaurants and bars, but also plan them and design them. I have today an opportunity to do a lot with wines because I studied enology and I took an early interest in wines. So basically, you need to be a good learner. You need to be proactive. You need to innovate. You need to understand what is the need of the hour. You need to create new trends. You need to follow what people have done well, and see that how you can adapt that as a part of your life and your professional skill.
Yeah, Mr. Saha, one more question, last question.
Sure.
When will be this glamour of UBCT back, according to you?
I think that Diwali is one chance that is there. If not by Christmas, I think we should be all okay. But there are many ifs and buts. But I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I'm hoping that things should be better by Diwali or Christmas for sure.
We miss your Fava restaurant in UBCT. It's a wonderful restaurant. We've
Right.
been there. Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
In fact, Chef, we have a couple of questions if you could take from the participants. Just two of them we had. So I'll just quickly go through them. In fact, we have one gentleman from the Welcome Group Graduate School of Hotel Administration, Manipal. And his question is that home delivery of food contributes to a lot of disposal of plastic and other non-degradable food packages to the environment. How should we address this issue?
Being sustainable is of utmost importance, and taking care, living in harmony with nature is the need of the hour and need of the day. As I said, wastage of food also leads to the wastage of water, and also we must be careful in terms of making sure that we are not polluting the environment in any way. You are right, and that is the reason why when initially the process of delivery started, I said that I did not open up restaurants to do delivery. I opened up restaurants. I spent crores of rupees to create the ambience, to employ the best of the chefs, to buy the best of the equipment for people to come and experience the restaurant, this thing. But the need of the hour is such that we need to uh, adapt and do deliveries. But there are many options. You have to be self-conscious and self-disciplined. That is the only way. And you have to give a thought to the environment and what your actions are meaning for the your actions have meaning for what, for the environment. So there are many biodegradable and disposables available today, and I think you should use them, from starting from biodegradable garbage bags to biodegradable delivery packets. Also, sometimes we don't take into consideration the food grade quality, and we pack them in plastic boxes, which the customers put them directly into the microwave for heating them. So when they eat that, after that, it is so toxic that it is unbelievable. So plastic should be completely avoided. There are options today in the market. It may be slightly more expensive, but if you tell your customers the correct, convey the message correctly to your customers, the customers should be ready to pay a little extra for the packaging that is required, that is biodegradable, that is eco-friendly, and that is, in harmony with nature.
Thank you, Chef. I hope this Mr. Valsaraj, who had asked this question from the Welcome Group Graduate School, have got the answer. We have Professor Paul, who is asking question, Chef, that on-the-job training and industrial visits are compulsory for the hotel management course. Give us some solution for this. Head of Tourism and Hospitality Studies at St. Philomena's College, Mysore.
So I think that the government has to come up with a rule that should, allow this year's industrial training or internship in hotels to be excluded as a part of the course. Because right now, I don't think that any hotel and restaurant is in a position to take people on board for industrial trainings and this kind of training programs. So one needs to approach the government and see that how they can exclude them for this year. There's so many exceptions that the government has made, in the education department also. So this should be also made. But I don't think that, you know, if it is required, the person, suppose if it is supposed to be that, you know, you're supposed to undergo training in the first year or the end of the second year, you always have the end of the third year, you know, where you can do the program, or in between the third year. So basically you can defer it, but you should never let go of the opportunity. And for those who are in the final year and they're passing out, they would have already completed, I guess, their programs. But for those who are supposed to undergo training program this year, I think that for them, there is no opportunity but to defer it, and the government has to take it out as a remove it from a part of the essential element of their studies or the course.
Thank you, Chef. In fact, I hope Professor Paul has got his answer. We have a question from Professor Gopi Anand. His question is: in this pandemic situation, necessary things price has gone up.
Yeah.
So how will it will be working with limited menu, and we will be working with limited menu. So how much profit can we expect from these limited menu and high cost of items?
Profitability is a difficult question at this point in time. If you are able to manage your costs, if you're able to break even, that is a very big deal. That is point number one. We cannot think about profitability at this point in time. Menu engineering comes in a big way in this situation. So where your creativity and menu engineering skills should be able to put more dishes on the menu where the cost of the food is lower without compromising on the quality or the creative aspect of the dish. So this is something that people have to put their heads onto. The chefs who are working in the restaurant will have to work hard. You have to work as a team. If you are an entrepreneur, if you're a restaurateur, you have to work with the chefs together and do a brainstorming and see that how you can come up with dishes which are less expensive. What are your high cost items? How you can, you know, create dishes. If you're creating a dish that requires saffron, maybe you want to think about not having it on the menu at all, or you want to use an alternate recipe. For example, Hyderabadi biryani or Lucknowi biryani calls for saffron, but Mopla biryani does not call for it. So maybe your cost of doing a Mopla style biryani is lower. I'm just giving an example. So you must think of dishes and focus on menu engineering, recipe costings, and also things that are common, but you can do creative elements with it. So there are dishes which are made with very reasonably priced items, which are very popular. You know, I don't want to mention French fries because I don't like it as a food, because it is a lot of empty calories and it is more of a, you know, junk food kind of a thing. It's made of potato. But think about mashed potatoes, which is probably, you know, which is very good as an accompaniment. If you're using polenta, a polenta costs 275 rupees a kilo. And then if you're using a potato, maybe it costs 30 rupees a kilo. So you can have the same filling effect by the usage of mashed potato instead of polenta, just to give you an example. So create dishes. If you are creating dishes with exotic greens, instead of that, you can use some spinach, maybe. You know, spinach is easier to find and easier to source and less expensive than other greens. So basically, what I would like to say is that creativity is something that you have to think about. Menu engineering is something that you have to think about, and you know how you can control your food cost will depend on all of this. But at the same time, you cannot compromise on quality, because then the customer has other options to look into.
I hope Professor Gopi Anand has got his answer. And we have one final question from the participants, that is by Mr. Vishnu. He says many successful executive chefs have not been able to be successful entrepreneurs. So,
Right.
but you are doing great. How do you do it?
No, I don't say that I'm doing great everywhere. So there, I have my own share of failures. Life is always going to be a mixed platter. You cannot succeed in everything that you do, and no matter whether you're a chef or not a chef. So, but being a chef, there are certain things that you have an advantage of, and there are certain things that you have a disadvantage in. So being a chef, you understand the food aspect of the business, which is a very, very important aspect of the business better. You have to learn how to create a team that takes care of other important areas of the business. So you have to be multifaceted in terms of the understanding. You cannot do everything from plumbing to marketing and sales. That is something that you must learn how to delegate. You must do things that you are good in. You must have an overview of the organization. You must have a vision for the organization. You must be able to motivate your team to do better and achieve financial results. But there are certain areas of having experts in, deploying them and recruiting them and making sure that your restaurant does well in all areas.
Well, thank you so much, Chef. It has not only been insightful, but an honor and absolute privilege to listen to you, Chef, for this evening. And I guess that's all we'll have time for today. Before I wind up, I would like to inform all the participants that you will be getting your feedback mails after 24 hours of this webinar and in your mail IDs. And once the forms are filled up, the certificates will be sent to your mail IDs. We also have a website, www.elearn.amcgroup.edu.in. In this website, you can get all the information about the webinars that are being organized by the AMC College Group. So I would like to thank first the management of AMC College for giving us this opportunity to conduct the webinar, and our principal, Dr. DVSSR Prakash, for mentoring us. To you, Chef Abhijit Saha, for your very, very precious time that you have given to us, and in between your very busy schedule. So thank you so much, Chef, for giving us the time and taking out schedule for this webinar. I also thank our director, Professor Rajesh Kumar, for continuously guiding us always, and the staff members of AMC College for their continuous support. I would like to thank especially our chef Mohandas for coordinating and arranging for the webinar, and Mr. Ranjan, who has been constantly working behind the scenes to on the technical aspect to make this webinar a success. And last but not the least, um, to all the participants who have taken the time to attend the webinar and share a beautiful evening with us. So until we meet again, please take care, stay safe, and keep learning. Thank you all so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Stay safe. And, I hope that you found this useful. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.